Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
Now we come to the highlight of tonight's meeting. I'd like to introduce our speaker, Craig F.
My name's Craig. I'm an alcoholic. I'd like to say happy birthday to the birthday people, and congratulations and welcome to the newcomers, and a very special thank you to Nikki for the 12 traditions. I bring it up a little bit? Yeah, okay. I'm not originally from Los Angeles, but I am from a town very like Philadelphia. I'm from a town called Glasgow in Scotland, where, just like Philly, but we don't have cheese. Well, we kind of do. I've lived in LA for 16 years. I've been sober for 19 years. And I don't work for, if you're new, I don't work for anyone here. I'm not on commission. I don't get any kind of special things if you stay sober. The reason I keep coming, and I'm very grateful that there are newcomers in the room, because sometimes I think, you know, I've been sober for a while, and sometimes I feel like I'm in an office way back somewhere, and newcomers come in from the front lines, and they're like, oh my God, it's fucking crazy out there. And I go, oh yeah, that's right, thanks for reminding me so I don't have to go out and look at that. But I was very concerned when I came to Alcoholics Anonymous. I was very frightened that it was a cult, or it was, you know, a sort of cross between Jehovah's Witnesses and Weight Watchers. And that I had joined this weird thing. And I think it might be. It might be that, and I don't care. And I was very concerned at the time about the percentage of people that get sober. What are the percentages of the success rate, and why, and let's get some information, and I don't fucking care. I probably, in the 19 years I've probably, you know, there's probably people in this room I owe amends to, and so I'm really sorry, and I don't do that anymore. And if I haven't annoyed you yet, before the end of the meeting, in case you want to tell me how I annoyed you, I'm really sorry, and I won't do that anymore. I don't believe in, I've never been very good at joining anything. I've never been very good at being part of anybody's gang. My tendency is to be iconoclastic. It's kind of the way my mind works. So I'm very kind of glad that AA is the way it is, that it's, as my sponsor John, who's here tonight, points out, it's a far from exclusive club, but you definitely qualify as a member. I didn't when I first came here, though. I did not have a desire to stop drinking when I came here. I didn't even have the minimum requirement for membership. I just wanted the shit to stop, and I thought this might be a way to do it. And I was very embarrassed. I walked around embarrassed all the time. If I wasn't drunk, I was embarrassed. I was either embarrassed or drunk. And then I think after I got sober, I was just embarrassed for a long time. I think being an alcoholic is like what it's like for normal people when they're really fucking embarrassed. Embarrassment, I was fucking so uncomfortable all the time. I grew up in Scotland, and drinking's popular. And I felt that I could, you know, take part in that with gusto, and I did. I had my first drink when I was 13 years old. I shared a bottle of El Dorado, it was called, with It's not really much like the lost city of gold. It's kind of, it's probably illegal now in most places. It was a South African fortified wine and fortified with gasoline or something. I don't know. Anyway, I drank it, and the first night I got drunk, I blacked out and I peed my pants and I punched a policeman and I woke up the following day full of remorse. And that's kind of what it looked like right up until I got sober. I got sober when I was 29, and there were varying degrees of that. When I used to drink, and I thought about this a lot when I first came in, because people talked about compulsion and the compulsion to drink, and I didn't understand it. I thought it was some kind of weird dramatic TV movie of the week thing where you drank a little bit and you went fucking crazy and but that's not how it worked for me. The compulsion to drink was a little more cunning than that. I would walk down the street in Glasgow and I'd meet someone I know, and they'd say, "Do you have time for a drink?" And I would say, "No, I don't." And then they'd say, "Time for one." And I'd go, "Okay, one." And we'd go for one, and then we'd be in the pub and we'd have one, and you'd go, "Do you want another one?" Because you have to buy, I buy him one, he buys me one, that's two. Then the barman buys one, that's three. And then you go, "We can sneak in one more," and then you sneak in more, and then you go, "Can you, fuck it." Fuck those assholes. I still don't know who they are. I don't know who I was so angry at. I don't know who I was so desperate to impress. I don't know why I was so embarrassed. A lot of the things, when I came in, I got sober when I was 29. I'd been living with a girl for 5 years, and I told her that I had spent a month in prison. And I hadn't. But I thought it made me more interesting to say stuff like that. And she used to say to me, she would occasionally in intimate moments ask me what it was like in prison, and I would say, I don't want to talk about it. It's too... And it was one of the most embarrassing fucking things in the world to tell this woman I'd lived with her so long that I'd never been to prison. I don't know why. She came to visit me in the treatment centre that I went to. By the way, I have a lot of friends in AA who did not get sober in treatment centres, and a lot who did. It doesn't seem to follow any pattern that I've noticed, just in case. But I just told lies all the time, and a lot of the stuff that I was very embarrassed about when I came in, it doesn't matter anymore. I was a bedwetter as a child, and that's to impress the Al-Anon women in the room. Bedwetter. I was a bedwetter as a child, and then I stopped when I was about 13, and then, when I was a little bit older, when I really started drinking, I started again, and then I stopped, the day I got sober. I haven't peed the bed since I got sober. So even if it was just for that, it would have been worth it. But I was very embarrassed by that. I don't know why. I'm standing in front of, a lot of very cool people and a lot of very young people and a lot of people dressed like cool people and dressed like young people, but I'm not. I fucking know who you are. If you're so fucking cool, what are you doing here? I was very embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I would have died. I would have got drunk and died rather than tell you that stuff. And now I fucking don't care at all. It's so fucking bizarre to me that the stuff that I would have damaged myself over, ruined, the stuff that I have damaged myself over, and relationships I have ruined over, stupid stuff, I don't care about anymore. And that's through the process of doing the steps, I think, and working with my sponsor and going to meetings and listening. When I went to the treatment centre, it was run by most people who had been who were members of AA. And it was very nice treatment centre. They were very friendly, and there was a lot of, in it, the part of the treatment, you would write a letter to the 10-year-old version of yourself asking for forgiveness, which was great, And when I got out of the treatment centre, I went back to Glasgow, where I was originally from. I had to go back there to do some work or try and get some work. And I started going to meetings on the south side of Glasgow. If you get a chance to go to them, they're great. The Wednesday night south side meeting in Glasgow is fantastic. In Albert Drive, is that it? And it's just a great meeting. But the meeting is actually full of, it's really old shipyard workers were there. Most of them communists or retired communists, and many of them atheists, but all of them members of AA, and very tough and very gruff. And I was new. They hadn't seen me before at that meeting. So they asked me to speak, and you speak for 45 minutes in this meeting. I'd only had 2 months. I was just out the treatment centre, and I spoke to these shipyard workers about how they might like to write a letter to the 10-year-old version of themselves, asking for forgiveness. And, and telling them that 2 months in a treatment centre was like 2 years sobriety. I told them that too, because I'd heard that. And I told them a whole bunch of stuff. And afterwards, every one of them came up to me and said, "That was fantastic, son. Keep coming back." And they were, and I did. I kept coming back because they were great. They were lovely people. I'm very grateful to the atheists of Alcoholics Anonymous. They held the door open for me. I was very concerned about God when I came in here. I was very concerned about the word God. I was very concerned that you were trying to trick me. And now I don't care. It's just another thing. It's not that I don't care about it. It's just that a lot of the things that used to fucking really eat me alive just don't. And I wonder sometimes if that's just not, age, or the truth is, I think this is a miracle what happens here. It really is. It's fucking bizarre. There are still people in Glasgow who knew me then who are surprised I'm alive. I'm oft-times surprised myself. I left Glasgow after I was about a year sober, and I went to London, where I had lived with the woman who I told I was in jail or prison for a month, and we broke up when I got sober because the dynamic of the relationship changed. And I started hanging out with people my own age and my kind of like peer group, and I started to experience what I think was the first real astonishing wave of recovery for me in AA, which was laughter, real laughter, laughter which was transcendental. I mean, just hanging around in these coffee shops or wherever we were, it's just laughing and talking and laughing. Real, not like that acid laughter that goes on for fucking days and, when will this hilarity end? But really excitement, I was really excited to have a life, it was terrific. And after about 2 years, somebody said to me, "What do you want to do? Not just in AA, what do you want to do?" And I said, "I always wanted to go to Hollywood and try my luck there." And they said, "Well, go." So I did. I came here in 1995, and I started going to meetings. I met Ethlie. Happy birthday, Ethlie. Where are you? Hi, happy birthday. Ethlie offered to make me soup. Do you remember? I don't know if it was really soup. Yeah. But hey, be nice. But Ethlie, and a lot of other people were very nice to me and very kind to me. But I was very concerned because the meetings in Los Angeles were not run like the meetings in Glasgow or London, so I started to very forcefully tell people what was wrong with the meetings here. So I made friends slowly, but I'm really amazed by this. I'm amazed by how nice it can be. I mean, it's kind of what I was looking for in a bar always. Or I took drugs too. I don't want to scare you off with my drinking stories. I took drugs as well. I took lots of drugs and alcohol, cocaine and I particularly enjoyed. I thought cocaine was a wonder drug because it allowed you to drink and not black out. I was like, why don't more people know about this? This is fucking sensational. You can drink and you remember everything. Wow. But it was, apparently you don't remember everything. Anyway, I did a lot of drugs. I'd never at that time thought, ooh, I better be careful what drugs I take so that I, don't have to be very specific about what meetings I go to when I get sober. I just did whatever I could. And I came here when I was a couple of years sober, and I started going to meetings. And after about 5 years, my meetings weren't great. I wasn't going to enough of them, I don't think. I wasn't really involved. John, my sponsor, who's here tonight, has been my sponsor since I got out of the treatment centre. I went to this a meeting not unlike this in London when I got out of the treatment centre, and the speaker was John, whose accent is similar to my own. So I thought, well, there you are. There's your sponsor. And also, I felt that he wouldn't judge me enough because I heard he shared some specific things from the podium. I thought, well, I'm not as bad as that guy, so that'll work. But after about 5 years sober, I'd been in Los Angeles for a little while. Things had actually started to go okay, professionally, and I guess, I was in a relationship, which was what it was, but things were going okay, and I wasn't used to that. I hadn't had things go okay. I hadn't made any real. I was used to drama. But I wasn't used to just like making a living and driving to work and being okay. I felt very uncomfortable with it. And I went to the Great Fact meeting, the men's group, on a Tuesday night on Olympic, and I shared about how uncomfortable I was, that I was earning money. I didn't know how to do that. And 3 guys borrowed money from me at that meeting and never fucking paid me back. And they're all sober. And that cured me of that, but I got very nervous. I got very I don't know what was wrong. I didn't know what was wrong. I was scared. I was really fucking scared, and I'd been sober for a while, and I didn't want to drink, but I didn't know what to do. I was kind of embarrassed to tell the truth in a meeting. I was kind of embarrassed to tell you what I was feeling like. I don't know why. So I called my sponsor, John, who was in Canada, and said, I feel terrible. And he said, well, as it happens, there's a friend of mine, a Scottish computer salesman, who's in Orange County right now, and he used to drink as much as I do, and blah, 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 and he's been sober for 100 years. Go and meet him. So I had this rattly old car, and I drove down to Orange County, and I got into I think it was an IHOP. It always seems to be old-timers and IHOPs. I used to think there was a conspiracy between old-timers and IHOPs. But I was in with this guy, and I was so fucking nervous, and I really wanted to see this guy, and I sat down with him, and he sat down with me, and I was about to tell him all my troubles, and this guy said to me, I'm so glad you're here, son. I'm having a terrible fucking day. And he talked for about 15 minutes. I was like, this is the opposite of what I fucking came here for. But as he talked, I don't know why, I don't know what fucking happened, but he kind of got my interest. It's something that he was talking, and he engaged me in conversation about him, not about me, about fucking him. And then we talked for a while, and then he seemed to settle down a bit, and then he asked me how I was doing, and I talked a lot about myself, and he went, first things first, think before you leap and whatever the fuck else, and then, but he said to me, he said, son, it's the basics. It's really the basics that work. If you want to feel the way you felt when you first came into AA, do what you did when you first came into AA. Go to a lot of meetings, do the steps, talk to your sponsor, be of service. He said, and most importantly, he said, stick with the winners. Stick with the winners. And I said, who the fuck are they? Who are the winners? And he said, here's the trick. We take turns. And now I understand. We're not all, or we don't have to all be well on the same day. I used to be, when I first came into meetings and I would see people talking from the podium, and a lot of them would have the time I have now, or a lot more, or they would just be well or famous or something, I would be rich or beautiful or something that it would get my attention, and I would feel less than because they had this thing. And I don't really feel like that anymore. I don't really do that anymore. That doesn't seem to be... There's peace, is what I'm saying. There seems to be peace in this. I mean, I hope I'm not finished, but there seems to be a level of peace which I never experienced. I experienced exhaustion and I experienced, intoxication, but I never really experienced, being okay. And a lot of the time, I'm okay. When I first came in, I would say all that stuff about I can't be talking about how much I drink, all the time. I've got other things to do. I had nothing else to do other than fucking drink. But that's just bullshit. And I don't feel, I don't really talk about that anymore. I think it was Paulo. Was it Paulo who used to talk about, I don't have a drinking problem, I got a thinking problem? Have you ever thought yourself into dangerous situations, thought yourself into a blackout? I mean, I understand that that's what I'm like. I'm an alcoholic and I haven't stopped being an alcoholic because I removed the alcohol. But the fucking miracle is I don't seem to need the alcohol anymore. I fucking needed it. I needed it. I didn't fucking come here because I had a couple of glasses of sherry with the vicar and, took my pants off at a fucking Christmas party. Trust me, I'm fucking here because I need to be here. On Christmas morning, before I got sober, I woke up in a room above a bar. It was Christmas morning. I'd meant to go home. The bar was in London, and I'd meant to go home to Scotland the night before, but I'd gone to the bar on Christmas Eve, and I'd been talking to my friend Tommy, and we'd been drinking and blah blah, and then I ended up sleeping in the room above the bar, and I never made it back to Scotland to see my parents. So I woke up and I was covered in pee, and I felt terrible, and it was about 6 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, you know what? No, I wasn't drunk. I guess I was whatever I was. I hadn't been drinking that moment. I'd been drinking the night before. But I woke up and I thought, I have to go and kill myself now. This is fucking. I am an awful person. I have to fucking go and die. And I was going to go out of the pub. I was going down to Tower Bridge in London, which is a big dramatic bridge that opens up like that. And I was going to swan dive off the bridge to my death to fucking show them. And I can't dive. I've never swan dived in my life. I'm not a diver. But I was going to go there. I was going to dive off the bridge, and I was going to, black swan to death. And it would be fantastically fucking dramatic. And fuck you. And on my way out of the bar, Tommy, who was the barman, he was already up. It was 6 o'clock on Christmas morning. And Tommy said to me, where are you going? I said, I didn't want to tell him I was going to go kill myself because, so I said, I'm going to go to Scotland. I'm going to go and see my mother and father. And he said, well, you can't because, there's no public transport. The planes are off. You don't have a car. There's bullshit. You don't have any money. Fuck. I'm like, never mind. I'm just going. He said, well, before you go, have a glass of sherry for Christmas morning to celebrate our Saviour's birth. And I thought, well, he's Irish. You don't want to get into a discussion about that. So that's a whole fucking mess of trouble right there. So he poured me a glass of sherry for Christmas morning. A venti, they would call it in Starbucks now. He poured me a sherry, and I drank the sherry, and I forgot to kill myself. The sherry. I don't really drink sherry, but, well, now I don't, and I didn't then, but it tasted like fucking nirvana. If you've never drunk in the morning, you've never really it's, wow! Fucking angels sang in my head, my body was flooded with relief. It was like golden fucking syrup was pouring through my veins. If sherry does that to you, you're a fucking alcoholic. It shouldn't do that. But it did that to me. It was just fantastic. I don't even like fucking I never even liked it then, but it did all that. And when I think back on it now, when these drinks that I took, the relief that I got, I needed it. I needed it. I was desperate to feel okay. I just felt bad all the time. I don't know if I'm, From what? I just felt I wasn't worth much. And no amount of anything I could do would fix that. You know, there was no money, there was no sexual interaction, there was no noise, there was no success that would stop the niggling feeling I had that I was a piece of shit. Now, I still have that, but I kind of seem to have developed through a kind of clutch mechanism that goes, yeah, okay, thanks. That's one point of view. I remember when I was, I'd been sober for a while, and I saw an accident on the 101. I was driving up the 101, and I saw this, accident in a car. A guy, Mexican guy and his two kids turned over on the freeway in this little piece of shit car, and they're upside down on the freeway, and the traffic all stopped, and I'm standing behind, I'm the first guy there, so I get out of the car, and I was on the way to a meeting at Warner Brothers, and I was full of fucking show business in my head, and I'm like, oh, fuck, why is it always happening to me? And these people are upside down on the freeway, but I'm like, why is this happening to me? But I have to stop, and I'm running towards the car, and I'm thinking, there's two kids in the car, but I'm thinking, oh, not the face, not the face. If this fucking thing blows up, not the face. There's fucking kids in the car. But I'm thinking this shit as I'm running to the fucking car. I'm going to help them as I'm shitting my pants about myself. But it doesn't matter what I'm thinking about. It doesn't fucking matter any of that. Because I'm going to help them. And I get to them, and I open the car door, and the guy goes to me, I'm okay, man, I'm okay. And I said, I don't know where this fucking comes from, because I said, no, you're in denial. You're fucking upside down on a one-on-one. You are a long fucking way from okay. Get out the car. And he gets out of the car. He said, get my kids out. I said, it's a two-door fucking car. Get out first so we can get the kids. So he gets out, and we get the kids out, and we get over there, and we get them to the side of the road, and people are fucking clapping, and it's awesome, and yeah! And then I'm going to the meeting at Warner Bros. I get in my car and I start driving towards the studio, and I'm not kidding, maybe 200 yards, and it was like a fucking voice in my head. You think you're great, you fucking piece of shit. Look at you, Mr. fucking Freeway Hero. You fucking asshole. Thank you for sharing. Would you like a sherry? But that lives in me. I live with that. But that's just part of the story. I don't have to buy into it. I don't have to drink anymore. If you're new here, you don't have to drink anymore. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like what this is, but you don't have to drink anymore. You just don't. And I was very excited to hear somebody say tonight, I don't know. God, the fucking honesty in that. I don't know. I don't know. When I came in here, I didn't know if I was an alcoholic. I hadn't read the fucking manual. I don't know. I know now. The only thing I'd done is I'd done the 20 questions. They had a 20 questions thing. And I answered it in secret. And I got 19, and I lied on one. I actually got 20, but I lied on one to myself. And then I kept it secretly. And I didn't know what you had to do to be here. I didn't know how you had to fit in. But you don't have to fit in. You don't. You just don't have to drink anymore. You don't have to fit in. You don't have to wear in. You don't have to look good. Don't have to look bad. Don't have to do fucking shit. Don't have to agree with anyone. Just don't have to drink anymore. What a fucking relief. Because I fucking had to. I don't know about you. I fucking had to. I needed it. And even now, it still kind of hangs around a little bit. I still go to me. I'm not a fucking idiot. I've heard the stories. I've seen them. People that have been sober a long time and get cured or get well or move on spiritually. No thanks. All of that's fine, but I'm here because I like the idea that I don't have to drink anymore. I had some friends staying at the house a while ago, and they, it was before I put my new rule of no fucking alcohol in the house, because I was trying to be very cool about it. Like, alcohol, I don't fucking, but there was a bottle of fucking Heineken in the fridge, green, and it was glowing like fucking kryptonite. When I was trying to get, I've been sober a long fucking time, and it's in the fridge going, and I could hear it. And I'm like, you know what? See, if I was an Orthodox Jew, you wouldn't bring a fucking ham to my house. So don't bring fucking alcohol to my house. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for me. And if that's a problem for you, then maybe you've got a fucking problem. If you don't want to go anywhere where you can't have alcohol, then maybe you've got a fucking problem. Maybe that's not my problem. I'm not completely better, is what I'm saying. Nor do I think I ever will be. Because to cure me of being an alcoholic, you'd have to cure me of being me. I don't want to be cured of being me. I just don't want to drink anymore. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. I don't have to see that look in the faces of those fuckers. You know, when they look at you with disappointment or confusion. You know, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I mean, I don't do well with looking at pity on faces. You know, I mean, I don't like that. I don't like when I see that. You know, and when I'm around, you know, with civilians and they drink their little bit of alcohol, I notice it. And I notice them kind of, you know, being able to take it or leave it. I can't even take it or leave their alcohol. Like when they're going, I better stop, I'm starting to feel it. I'm like, that's the fucking point. What is the fucking point of drinking alcohol and not feeling it? You know, I'm stopping now, I'm starting to feel it. No, you're starting now, you're starting to feel it. I don't think like that. If you're not an alcoholic, I don't think like you. I think like alcoholics, and the illusion that we are like normal people has to be smashed. I don't think like normal people. I think like normal alcoholic people, of which there's no fucking thing. I exist as an alcoholic. That's what I am. It's how I define myself. It's how I make decisions even now. It's my personality type. It's my pathology, but it's also who I am. I walk around with it. You know, and I whine about it sometimes, but, you know, like, I don't want to go to the meeting. You know, not wanting to go to the meeting is like not wanting to go to dialysis. Fucking good luck. Good luck with that. Because I've seen it. And then, you know, stuff in the, I feel like I should say things when A is under attack and the press, and then I think, no, maybe I shouldn't say a fucking thing. Maybe I should just fucking shut up and go to the meeting. And that's what I try and do a lot. I don't speak very much anymore because I do better when I don't. I see. I feel that way. I remember being in a meeting once and a guy, it was just a small meeting, there was a guy talking, he was having a very hard time. He was sharing very honestly about it. It was really interesting to listen to and helpful. And he said, I don't know why I feel so bad. He said, I'm a circuit speaker, for God's sake. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Is there a hierarchy? There isn't. There isn't. Our leaders are trusted servants. I'm not working for anybody here. I don't get commission. But I'm a very satisfied customer. I haven't woken up any time in the past 19 years and thought, fuck, I wish I hadn't stayed sober last night. I've done some difficult things. I've been through the death of my parents. Well, they went through death. I went through the grief of the death of my parents. And you know what? That stuff, the drama, for me, it was doable. Hard stuff I was used to catastrophe. What's difficult is success. What's challenging is, what are you going to do now? There's no fucking problem. In fact, what would you like? You know, what happens if it goes okay? See, because for a long time it didn't go okay, and then suddenly, boom, I'm in a treatment center. You know, but what happens if it does go okay? It's a completely different fucking paradigm. I don't know how to deal with that. The closest I've been to having a drink sober is through a particularly good run. I was in a hotel in New York, and things were going fucking great. And, you know, there was, you know, stuff to do with ladies, and there was stuff to do with work, and I was like, yeah! And I was in a room on my own, thinking. And I, thinking about how fucking awesome I was. And I went to, there's a minibar in the room, and I went to the minibar and I opened it, and there was alcohol there, and I was like, ha, ha, ha. And there was a can of Budweiser there. I don't really like Budweiser, never really did, but I saw that it was cold, and I took it out of the fridge, and I held it in my hand because I didn't know how much it weighed. This is what I was thinking. Now, I don't know about you, I can't guess I don't work in a carny, man. I can't guess shit by holding. I got, 5 kilograms. I don't know how much it weighs, but I wanted to feel the weight of it in my hand. Why? Because I'm a fucking alcoholic. Mr. fucking Freeway Hero. You fucking piece of shit. Drink it. But I didn't. I put it down and I went to a meeting and I said, I just took a beer out of the fridge and held it in my hand and I said it at the meeting and people laughed. I was like, yeah. I don't know why they laughed, but it made me feel better. A lot of the time in these meetings, I don't know why this makes me feel better. I don't know why I laugh at half the stuff I hear in here. I don't know why I feel I belong here, but I do. And if you're sitting there thinking that you don't belong here, that's one of the primary symptoms of belonging here. I wish you could see how fucking awesome you are. Look at you. Look at you. You're fucking great. And there's fucking hordes of you. I've seen you fucking everywhere. Everywhere with your crazy fucking looks and your opinions about shit and your jokes and you're fucking telling me how, and you're fucking magnificent. And there's fucking millions of us all over the world. And when they say, well, the success rate of Alcoholics Anonymous and this, that, and that, fuck them. Here's the success rate for me in Alcoholics Anonymous. 100 fucking %. But that's just my opinion. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I don't know if I helped anybody, but it really helps me. So thank you very much for your service. I really fucking mean it. Thank you. Good night.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. And let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think. Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down, So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.